What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. And Doge mining right now is not profitable, even on the latest hardware like the L9. So I don't know if this ever existed. I'm pretty sure Doge was always profitable on the latest hardware, but right now we can see at 12 cent power, we're in the negatives on L9. That is pretty insane. This is pretty rough, but could Qubic be changing that? So, as you know, Qubic currently mines Monero at some offset type of times, and they used to, I don't know if they still do, but they also set a couple days apart where they mine Monero all day, a couple days a week here. But they have had times where they had enough hash rate to 51% the network, which means they had over 51% of the network's total hash. And when they do that, they made a lot of money in Qubic because then they sold all that Monero. They also did some reorgs, which is a bad thing. You never want anyone to try to cause reorgs in a chain. That's just wrong. That's a bad actor. But moving forward, they did attempt to do that and they were successful through a few blocks up to 16, maybe 20. I can't remember exactly, but here you can see here is the Qubic pool and it goes up and down. So it has been slowing down and this has been bringing in a lot more money into the Qubic infrastructure and helping the price of Qubic supposedly. But here we have a new thing going on. So they are moving out XMR mining on the CPUs, which has an emission currently of around $149,000 a day, and they're moving into Dogecoin, which the emissions is not here, but it's over like $1 million a day or something. So almost 2 million, I think. So it is the second largest cryptocurrency in terms of emissions. This is a pretty big deal. But Dogecoin is dealing with some of the largest pools in the mining infrastructure when it comes to Bitcoin and other things. So there's a lot of dedicated hash here, and they're attempting to move over to Dogecoin now by making it more profitable. And then I don't think they're going to get enough hash rate to ever 51% this, but again, we have no idea. I didn't expect it to happen on Monero. So remember, miners are greedy. So if they pay miners enough, we could see miners come over from these pools and move to Qubic. Let's take a look at some current numbers to see what it's even looking like. All right, so here is mining now and a DG1 plus, which we kind of have some numbers for Qubic. So right now on Dogecoin, remember they're only mining Dogecoin, but Dogecoin is the only coin that matters. Like Litecoin's not really making anything. Add them all together, it's not really making much more. A little bit that's coming from that. Bells is making like zero. But here, the point here is, yeah, Bells is making 4 cents. Not really worth it. Litecoin about $1.15. But the big money maker is the Dogecoin here. And it's making $6 to $7 a day roughly revenue before any types of power costs. Now, if we come into here, same miner, total hash rate dropped a little bit here, but it's the same miner here, and they're estimating about 7.78 million cubic per day. That's the estimate. It could be a lot more, it could be a lot less. We never know how much we're going to get. If you mined Qubic in the past, you kind of know what I'm talking about. You got to wait for the epoch end, which is a week later, and then you don't get paid till 2 weeks later. I imagine they're going to be doing the same thing with Dogecoin. They wouldn't be changing any of that. But here the point is 7.7 million. Now we're going to take a look at this number to see what that is based on the current price. We're also going to look at some other numbers that are blowing my mind. So it just went up a little bit here, but 7.77 million cubic at the current price of 6 zeros and 7917, that is about $6.15. So slightly less than what mining now is telling us, but on par as mining Dogecoin. So they're already on par, which makes sense because they're mining Dogecoin. Now keep in mind, you're going to be adding in, once XMR comes offline, you're going to be adding in all these Qubic emissions on top of that. So they are making the same as Qubic. Now they're going to be adding on a bunch of emissions. How much is that going to be making? And there are some fundamental numbers here of early on mining this, and take a look at this. So here's a message from Echo, whichever one it is, one of the two. But I do want to point out he was showing some stuff here, and this is early on, and I don't know if this has anything to do with once Qubic emissions come in or don't come in, or this is just what it was based on this when he's the only miner. I don't really know, but based on if we actually click on this though, and someone asks them, hey miners, how much reward per mega hash per day did you receive per last epoch? And here it says, based on QDoge, an ASIC miner with 5.7 gigahash, which is a pretty small miner, generated 51 million cubic. That's roughly 9 million cubics per 1 gigahash. Per 1 gigahash. So let's just kind of look at something here. So this is 14,400 megahash. So 14 gigahash. So if we take a look at this and we go 14 gigahash, I'm timing that by 9. That's 126 million coins that this could be making. Is that legit? So 126 million. So I'm just going to put that in the price and see what that looks like. So based on the current price, that would currently be about $99 per day. All right, so I recorded that and then I was going over it and I was like, okay, that's not right. It's not 99 per day. Qubic goes by epoch. So that'd be 99 for the week. So if you divide that by 7 for 7 days, that's actually $14.14. That's over double of what Doge is currently paying its miners. That's pretty crazy. If you're paying miners double of normally mining Doge, that brings profitability way up, and that's a very good chance to pull miners away from those larger pools and into Qubic, because miners care about greed. All right, so yesterday I did take those numbers and I asked about it. So I was curious, based on all those numbers, it says yes during the testing phase. So that was before. In this epoch, Qubic Doge hash rate went way up and profitability dropped down. But like I said, this is just testing phase. Soon we will have subsidies, I think, similar to XMR in the past. So the profitability is currently looking like, I think, what we could have been looking at. But again, we don't know by profitability estimates. As it goes up, it goes down, it's all over the place. We don't know. So when I find out how much it's actually made this epoch next week, that will be some interesting numbers. But there will be, once Monero is gone, the subsidies, which is taking Qubic emissions and putting it on top of current Doge emissions. So it will be adding more money to the miners. But the big question is, will it be enough to pull away miners? And that's what we're going to have to wait and see. So there are some emissions actually going into Doge. Not much, but a little bit. It looks like about 5%. So it looks like, here we go. As far as I know, QLI pool is distributing 5% of total pool revenue to Doge miners. So here we can see 55% is going to their AI thing of the rewards. 40% is going to XMR and 5% is currently going to Dogecoin. So soon, this 40% will go to Doge once XMR is gone, putting 45%, unless they adjust things to get more miners. They could drop their AI down a bit and get more Doge from that. It's hard to say, but again, this is the way it's looking like right now. But once XMR is gone, there'll be at least 45% of all the Qubic emissions moving into Dogecoin to boost the profits. So here we have, but Sergey, what's the long-term benefit unless it can help Qubic offset selling pressure in a meaningful way? It's just short-term hype resulting in P&D essentially. And he says higher profit. And then someone here says, but why didn't it work with XMR? There's no organic demand for Qubic here. Miners should somehow create demand for Qubic and not all create sell pressure. Maybe if miners need to stake lock certain amounts of Qubic here, and that's not the case. You're not going to have to stake or do anything weird like that. But didn't work what? This attack is applicable to merged mine coins only. So they're calling this an attack right now, and it's only will work with merge mined coins. So there's something going on with only merge mine coins that you can't do with other coins. He has some type of trick up his sleeve that I'm not really sure what he's referring to here. And then now he's another update to that, and he goes, nice theory, but selfish mining won't work. It didn't work on XMR, at least on any sustainable level, and it won't work for Doge. At least with XMR, you could rescue CPU miners. CPU minings are still is dominant on XMR. It is profitable, but and here he says, with XMR mining, we showed one aspect of proof of work coins vulnerability. I'm not sure what he showed. He showed that obviously greed can bring in more hash rate and you can attack a chain. That's with any proof of work coin. That's just crypto mining 101. That's why we always say spread your hash rate across different pools, run your own nodes and mine to that. You don't want over 50%. You don't want over 45% of a single pooler entity controlling the majority of a hash rate of a coin. So I'm not sure what he means by this. He wasn't really showing anything. It was just something we already all knew. But here it says with Doge without LTC, we'll show another aspect. So something interesting is about to emerge here. Remember, on merge mine coins only, and a reason why they're only doing Doge without the Litecoin. Like, it's not really going to matter because Litecoin, like we've seen, was only like $1. All the money on script, you can have 100 merge mine coins, but they're all making nothing, less than a cent. It's all coming from Dogecoin. So you need Doge to go up and down. Whatever happens to Doge will determine the future of script mining reality. But anyway, with Doge without LTC, we'll show another aspect. So pretty much game theory basis of this is different. So it will be an attack of another kind and we'll make headlines again if we get enough mining power. So this is crazy. Now, in order to get mining power, obviously they need to make the coin a decent amount more profitable than mining Doge directly. And with all their Qubic commissions, they may be able to do that, but they still have that halving that they might have to get rid of. I don't know. And I don't know if they have any plans to do that, but we'll see what happens once they fully implement this. But it does sound like Come From Beyond knows about some type of vulnerability on merge mine coins only, and that's why he's choosing Doge out of even deciding to go Litecoin. He's going Doge alone. And really, we talked about that. That's the only thing that matters. So something very interesting is about to emerge here, and only merged mine coins are susceptible to that. So I don't know what he's talking about. If anybody has any type of ideas, let me know down in the comments section what is going on. But we may be about to see something insane happen between Qubic and Dogecoin. So I don't know if it has anything to do with this or not, but the one thing I'm kind of familiar about with the merge mine coins, especially the script ones, Doge and everything, is they have high orphan rates. So that's why you see the majority of the pools are actually PPS plus and PPS, because on PPL and S, you're actually losing money because of the high orphan rate. So PPS actually keeps your profits up and stable over that when you're having high orphans on a chain. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this, if there's a way he can pull the money and value out of all those high orphans, or if there's something else entirely. Again, just an idea popped in my head as I was editing this video, and I wanted to bring that up because that's something I forgot about, was that high orphan rate when it came to these merge mine coins, which happens only with merge mine coins. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comments as well. So here's something else that's kind of interesting. This is jumping all over the place. This is at 1.6, but this was around, this was quite a bit more hash. Epoch, oh yeah, here we go. So I don't know, something changed here, but it's not looking like there's much hash rate now. But there was up around 3, 4, 5, 6 terahash, I think. Now it's down to, oh, now it's already going up. But anyway, an interesting thing, as I mentioned, the 5% profits is there. Now, obviously, it's not looking great, but here on their calculator, we can see that an L7 9.5 mega hash miner is at about $5.62. Obviously, negative $4 or something, because an L7 at this point in time, unless you have free power, but these are like the new L3 pluses. The hash rate's 9.5 gigahash, but they're using 3,400 watts. They're not profitable to mine at all. As we can see here, with 12-cent power, we're at $5.62 revenue, negative $4 after power cost. So it's not worth turning on at all unless you got solar or free power. But if we look at mining now on the same thing, so remember, 562 revenue, and mining now is showing these. Oh, it actually came up. No, 480. Doge alone is 480. Somehow Qubic is making it. Is it that little 5%? But you're making more on Qubic than mining Doge alone already, in theory, based on that. So I don't know. Is it starting, guys? What do you guys think about this? And again, if they start making these miners profitable, does that mean the price of these miners is going to skyrocket? They has been slowly coming down a bit as nothing has been profitable anymore. So if you are looking for one of these miners, links down in the description, guys, because we could possibly see a huge profit boost happen on our Doge miners again, coming out of the red into some major green. But again, that's all up in the air, and we're kind of betting on a gamble at this point. But what do you guys think Qubic has up its sleeve? So there's a token here that's actually built on the Qubic infrastructure. I'm not sure if you heard of it or not. Qmine. And this is mining rethought. So it's the first real world asset RWA token on Qubic. So it's tokenized mining infrastructure with transparent on-chain revenue distribution. So in a nutshell, I believe it's to help miners that don't want to deal with power bills and power costs and things like that. Is you buy this token and essentially you get cuts out of this mining. So currently we can go into the dashboard here, kind of see here's their Qubic mining and everything. So there's around 400 plus CPU rigs here. 10% of those are about 9950Xs. So, there's a decent amount of hash power in CPU mining rigs. And with the DOGECOin and everything coming in, they got that single DG1 Plus coming in, but there's also going to be quite a few more coming into the project, and especially this project right here that will be mining Doge on Qubic as well. So there's multiple pools here, pool A, pool B, and so on, but they're also pretty much named. Here's a BTC mining pool. I believe this is pool B, and it has close to around 400 billion cubics worth of SC shares. Now, SC shares, I believe, is what you use to get those cuts and stuff, I guess. So yeah, they got 0.85 petahash. So a decent amount of hash rate is here as well. So pretty large SC holder. We can see all the numbers for the holders. Now I'm not 100% sure how this all works out, but the main thing is to make mining easier for other people. So I'm going to get a lot more information together on this and see how exactly it does work and if it's profitable. But right now, just to kind of get the word out that Qmine is available on Qubic. So if you wanted to check this thing out, obviously head on over to Qmine. I will have this link down in the description. All right, so just to take a look at a couple things here coming and where Qubic is currently sitting right now. Looking at Dogecoin on mining pool stats, they are in Qubic is in 21st place. They also have 0% pool fee. I don't know if there's any other pool out there. Lucky Monster Pro Solo 0.5, but 0% fees happen on Doge as well versus everyone else that's anywhere from 1 to possibly 4% pool fees. So pretty insane, 0% pool fees. So that's where you're gaining a little bit as well. Not much, but every little bit counts. Here we can see their hash rate. It's at 2.16 currently. And again, 21st place. So it'll be interesting to see how Qubic does start climbing this ladder in terms of, earnings and what they're going to get out of this. Another thing is starting tomorrow, which is Wednesday, as we know, is their epoch switches. A new epoch begins tomorrow and a new phase is beginning in Doge mining. Let's take a look at that. So here is one of the latest updates on their phases, or I guess this is back last month, so it's not latest update, but here's how their phases are coming through. It doesn't have dates, but I do have a date to say phase 2 is beginning tomorrow. So this is being updated. So phase 1 here, testing 1 to 2 epochs here. So comp revenue is XMR only. XMR is active 50% of the time. 1 XMR marathon was removed. So remember, they were doing 2 marathons. That was kind of what I was saying, where some certain days they're doing 2 full days. So it looks like they're doing 1 marathon still. So 1 full day of XMR. This is phase 1, remember. This is what they're doing right now. Tomorrow, it's all changing. Wednesday, right now it is the 14th. So April 15th of 2026 is when the phase 2 kicks in, just so you have an idea when you're watching this video and stuff. So Doge test mode is active 100%. That's where we are right now. They're testing on mainnet on how it's working. AI is active. It runs all times except when Monero is active, XMR, because so there you go. The CPUs are running the AI and stuff. Now here is phase 2, and this is where they're doing a migration. This is going to last another 1 to 2 epochs, and comp revenue XMR or Doge competitor, whatever this is, decides. So that's the mining pool that you are mining on. Example, I'll show examples from QLI. They are moving into Dogecoin, and I think they're pretty much the forerunner of how this is working. So if you're on the QLI pool, this is what they're phasing out. If you're on jet ski, they might wait an extra week or two. I don't know exactly how jet ski or some of the other pools are implementing it, but I do know upfront QLI. So this, again, it depends on the pool that you're running on. So anyway, XMR phased out 50%. So we can see here now they're cutting it down in half. Most profitable top up is disabled. So the extra boost and stuff that you're getting from XMR is now being disabled here. Second marathon removed. So no more full days of marathon mining. So no full days on XMR anymore with your CPUs through Qubic. And then the computers here who bring Doge are no longer eligible for XMR. So they're doing a transition. They're removing all the boosts to XMR here pretty much. And anyone who does integrate Doge is no longer eligible for any XMR. So they're phasing out XMR anyway. So I imagine people are going to be bringing in Doge ASAP. And then here we can see Doge phase in 100%. So top up is applied. So the top ups that was coming out of XMR is now going into Dogecoin. We got the computers here is opt in by bringing in Doge. So an opt in for these top ups and stuff, they got to start the Doge mining, which offsets all this stuff here that we kind of went through. AI is active 50% of the time, runs at all times except when XMR is active. So again, not a full marathon going on, but they're still going back and forth with XMR on the CPUs here. And then a 1 to 2 epoch. So this is actually, I'll end it here. This is all that's going to be happening tomorrow, April 15th. These are the new phase-ins. So Doge is going to get for next epoch tomorrow even more profitable because the top ups are now being applied and removed from XMR. And then a 1 to 2 epoch. So in about 1 to 2 more weeks, the final stage will kick in, and that's when XMR will be fully closed. No more XMR. That means AI will be training 100% of the time because that's where you're going to have your CPUs, and Doge will be active 100% of the time as well. But right now, this is starting phase 2 tomorrow at the time of recording. That's why I'm trying to get this video out today, so that if you guys want to try this starting at a fresh epoch tomorrow, the rewards are going up. And we don't know what those profits are yet, but it's better than anything I just showed you. So keep that kind of in mind. All right, guys, so that does wrap up this video. What are your thoughts and opinions on Qubic and their Doge mining that's coming into play? Are they about to make Doge mining very profitable like they did with the boosts on your CPUs to Monero? Time is about to tell, but there's also a trick up come from beyond sleeve that I'm kind of curious about when it comes to merge mine coins, especially the big boy Dogecoin. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section. If you're looking for any type of miner, links down in the description. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.